What's up, sassy gamers? Today is season 2, episode 35. And the episode we're on is February 10th of 2022. So there's that. That was a good one. I haven't done that in a while. I haven't murdered it that bad in a while. So there's also that.
Good job.
Today
is a date in the calendar that I potentially won't remember. What's going on, fam? What's up, chat? What's up, everyone around the world watching or not watching or watching later? Thanks for
chat's being multilingual today.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Hola, hello, bonjour.
So I just kind of want to say
Boa noite.
And we'll kind of talk about this a little bit.
Konnichiwa.
Not so much later, but so we did trivia again this past week, and I just want to apologize to those who have attended the last 2 trivias, because both times something epic failure happened, and it's just not acceptable. So
that's right. You too can attend Tuesday trivia, where you get the full mic experience.
Yeah. So sorry about that. I think what I'm going to do is something a little special for the next one. I think I'm going to give out a prize. I'll announce that a little later.
He's going to mess it up too. Date. Don't worry about it.
But I'm going to hope to have everything perfect. And what I'm talking about is, so the first time I didn't have the scores carry over, so we didn't really know who the true winner was of the game. And then last week we had the final question. I'm ready to unveil this final question about the Super Bowl that nobody's going to know. At least the people that are on the team leads. And then they were like,
known, that's for sure.
And Kelly goes, well, are you talking about this question here that says the Green Bay Packers, blah, blah, blah? And I'm like,
he's like, why would you read that?
Why would you say that out loud? And she's like, it's at the bottom of my answer.
It's right here on everybody's screen.
I love the fact that Mike was so confused. Instead of saying something
how
like
did
a
she
normal,
know?
Right? A normal person would be like, wait, how do you know the question? He's like, shut up. Why would you read that out loud?
Why would you read that?
And immediately we had Oh God Bando on too, who posted in our Discord pictures, snapshots of it showing it. So then it was even more failure because I went to add a question to potentially have a second question so I could have something for them. And that also showed up with the answer already. It didn't even give me a chance to hide it. So
Bando
anyway, next time I'll
answered it and won.
Well,
so
I'll be better next time.
I thought it was cool too, because Mike had no idea, because he had the host view that he was streaming out, which is, for lack of a better term, a censored view, right? Yeah. While we had the application view of us trying to answer, and for whatever reason, there's the whole question and answer. And
so
only on that one, though. Only on that one.
I just want to say that out loud. I'll be better for next time. It's a learning experience, but I have something for you guys next time for sure. So there will be a prize for the next trivia we have for the first person.
Whoa, wait a second.
Yep.
There's going to be prizes?
Well, you're not going to be able to take me on a date. That's not going to be a prize, unfortunately.
That's what the loser gets.
But
I am going to give out a prize for the next one, for the top winner, individual winner. Just to say sorry. So there's that.
Please say it's SASS fish stickers for our water bottles.
That'd be cool.
That's not what I had planned for this one, but that can be something in the future.
I think that's a great idea.
So anyway, moving on. Kelly, tell us about your corner today.
Got stuff in my corner.
You got stuff in there?
I got some stuff in my corner.
It's like a bag of holding, just a bag of corner.
Yeah. So as the
poke holes in the bag, bunch of corners.
Oh, there you go. We'll do that. So Zycie and I are the 2 resident parents of the show, and we
in the show and outside the show.
Yeah, that's true. Unless there's something somebody's not telling us. And we both have expressed our love for this show called Bluey. It's an Australian cartoon. Bluey is an Australian Shepherd dog or a Blue Heeler.
Blue Heeler.
In the show, it's the mom, the dad, Bluey, and the sister. and it's hysterical. Even as an adult watching it, we get enjoyment out of it. Yeah, it's really funny. So I highly recommend, if you have kids and they haven't seen Bluey yet, definitely watch it with them.
It's a good show. Like,
it's a great
all
show.
of the aspects of the show are a good show. Like, there's a lot of kid shows that just don't really mean things, and it's just a bunch of things screaming and, you know, making noises, and it's, you know, the kids are entertained, but it doesn't really teach them anything. It just kind of is on. Whereas Bluey, well, I found that because of the fact that I was looking like, what is a good thing that my kid could watch rather than just like garbage. And someone mentioned Bluey, so I looked it up and I was like, wow, this is really good. Like, and it so like you said, it's for parents, it's for the kids. It has, it teaches them things, but also kind of teaches us things as parents. Cause like there's things that we recognize and things that we go through and we're like, how do we deal with this? Well, it's a good way to do it. So it's pretty neat. I definitely recommend it.
Yeah. It teaches kids emotional intelligence, how to deal with different situations, how to, you know, handle their emotions and stuff like that. And it also teaches parents, oh, I remember what that was like when I was a kid and how awful I felt. And here's how I can do better as a parent. So
yeah, I'm not saying that me and my wife have sat down and watched it without.
Yeah, we're not just sitting there watching Bluey and I'm drinking my wine and I'm like, oh my God, when are the kids going to go to bed? Because I want to see the latest episode.
Well, speak for yourself. It's a pretty good show. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good show. But the I follow this Australian TikToker called at Zach_Mander, and he did this TikTok of, you know, oh well, the Bluey house might like really exist. So if the Bluey house really exists, where is it located, and how much would it be worth? And he goes into, well, based on, you know, the stuff in the background, it's located in this neighborhood in Brisbane, and well, the house would be worth like many millions of dollars. And I don't think that I think that there's something suspicious going on, because Bluey's mom works at as a TSA agent at the airport, and Bluey's dad is an archaeologist, and maybe he's selling, you know, stuff that he's finding, and that's how they're affording it. And after watching it, Mike's wife was like, "Leave Bluey alone! Why is he doing this?" Right on the heels, it was hysterical. Definitely watch it. Right on the heels of that video, though, Zach Mander did another video of him trying to find the Bluey house. And he shows that there is an actual Bluey house. And the Bluey house looks amazing. Inside the Bluey house, they've got the rugs. It's decorated just as the cartoon. Super cute. So the rugs, they have different rugs. There's a kiwi rug and a watermelon rug, and in the different rooms. So this house, in the TikTok and the article that Brian sent to me, ironically, right after I'd sent the other TikTok to, yeah, it was perfect timing. The house is an Airbnb, and folks in Australia will be able to rent it. Couple of things that upset me, though, about it, per this CNET article. You're the only people, like I said, only Australians right now can apply to rent the Airbnb. It does not allow dogs at all.
Oh my God.
No dogs allowed. So I was a little sad to see that my family wasn't going to be able to rent this Airbnb, but I thought it was super cute.
It is. It's pretty much the set. Like, it's,
yes,
as a kid,
totally the set.
Like if I were my kid and we got to go there, like that would be like Walt Disney or something, you know? Like,
if it just came with a dog.
Sleeping in Bluey's
There's
bed.
2 blue healers that are there. That's why you can't bring your own, because they already have them.
Yeah. They already have the dogs, you know. It's not like,
I guess you are the
accurate.
dogs.
That would be funny. Like, they don't say that, and you get there and there's like 2 dogs there. You're just like,
oh my
or
gosh.
4, I guess, the whole family, and you're just like,
I would be in heaven.
They're like sleeping on the beds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'll sleep on the floor. Oh, that'll be fun. The other article came to me via Phoenix as well, and it's since I got kind of let down by the Bluey house not being rented by anybody outside of Australia. Fun little story for you about an Arizona tourist who went to Las Vegas playing slot machines. Something happened to the slot machine. Dude walked away. Then they realize, hold on, what's going on with the slot machine? Fixed the slot machine and realized there was an error in the machine that prevented this guy from, or this person, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, prevented them or they from actually getting their winnings. And they won $229,000 from this slot machine. The Nevada Gaming Commission did their due diligence and did not stop. They persisted until they found the person. They found the tourist. They used.
I mean, it was insane. It was video surveillance.
Mm-hmm. Video surveillance.
They interviewed people. They like tracked
the video surveillance was across multiple properties too.
Yeah.
So multiple casinos. They watched this video surveillance tracking this person down.
If anything, this is almost on the night scary.
Yeah.
At 12:15, were you playing on this slot machine in this casino?
Yeah.
I'd be like, what?
They even went so far.
Messed up because I didn't get my money. That was definitely me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I ever get asked, that's what I'm going to say too.
Yeah. They even analyzed rideshare data. So reached out to Uber, Lyft, or whatever, and finally found the person and were able to give them their winnings. So that was
like how long was it? It was like 4 months?
It was a Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor was the winner. So
yeah, it took him like 4 months or something like that to find him too.
Yeah, not 4 months, just a couple weeks.
Okay.
He was playing on January 8th, and then they finally notified him on January 28th.
Yeah.
So
it was super cool that they did it, even if the laws require them to do that, which they do.
Yes,
one of the reasons why they did it.
Yeah.
But it was really cool that they put that much effort and legitimately worked on finding this guy.
So moral of the story is don't kill somebody in a casino and then try to make a run for it because you're probably going to get caught.
I mean, I've watched Ocean's 11. It's possible.
That's true. That's true.
And 12 and 13 and all of them. You just got to have like a good team. You know?
And
are you asking
really
us to be on your
flexible
team?
acrobat.
Yeah, you need that one. He has Bill of Fit in a box. So
yeah.
Didn't they even bring him back for like the all ladies ocean or something like that?
That's the one I haven't seen.
The Ocean's 8 and Ocean's 9.
Yeah, Ocean 8. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
I need to watch those.
They liked him so much. I think they like. I don't remember 100%, but I think that's the case.
Maybe we'll do that for a SASS movie night.
Yeah, that'd be cool. With that.
Gravy.
I like those movies.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Thanks for letting us in your corner once again this week. It's always a pleasure.
Now get out of my corner.
All right. All right. Well, let's get into the news. One day we'll have breaking news that we get to like play like alert on the screen and stuff.
Yes.
So news broke earlier this week that Rockstar, the creators of the Grand Theft Auto series, along with Red Dead Redemption, which is most people are familiar with, and a slew of other games, they actually announced that the new GTA is well underway. People have been asking because GTA 5 is literally, how old is it now? Like 6 or 7 years old, if not older, maybe. Yeah. And it's come out. It's come out on like every. It's almost a Skyrim. It's come out like on every platform, on over and over. Just new console. Well, it comes with Grand Theft Auto 5. Like that's just how it is. Like I remember playing it on Xbox 360 that I owned.
Right.
Brand new. We came with 2 discs. I had to install 1 disc for the game, and then I had the other one, which was the actual like game. And
2013. It's almost 10 years old.
Yeah, almost 10 years old. So people are like, hey, online's great. You guys have been doing a lot. Plus, I know Red Dead Redemption 2 came out. Like, are you guys going to do something else? And when is GTA 6 coming out? So they actually came out and posted on their Twitter. They said GTA 5 and GTA Online come to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series March 15th with new graphic mode, technical advancements, and much more. And also, they can transfer their stuff to GTA Online or whatever on the other platforms, which, whatever. But then somebody else said something and was like, hey, how do we, when is this other game going to come out? And now I can't find the information that I'm looking for.
We're super professional. We're super pro.
Professional. This is it. Now I can't find it. But
even the pros do this.
Yeah.
True story.
I also like that they mentioned that a standalone version of GTA Online is going to be coming out on March 15th. So that's one of the ways that they're going to be able to move forward anyway, is divorcing the idea of GTA 5 from GTA Online. So that, because that's been the biggest question. How do you have a GTA 6 when GTA 5 is online? Well, you separate the two.
Or you just make GTA 6 and continue on with the other game the way that it is, because it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, remember that.
It says basically that they confirmed that GTA 6 was coming out and it's in active development. And it said that the game is well underway and that they'll share more details, obviously, as soon as they have them. So good news to hear that. Again, we don't really is it, what are they going to do with it? Are they going to take the GTA 5 approach and really just try to cash cow it and really just not really care about the game and just make it, this big cash grab? Or is it going to be actually decent and good and like maybe eventually online or whatever? And who knows, it could even be the way everybody's going now is metaverse. Like maybe they're trying to build an instance for the so-called metaverse. So that could be another approach they could take with it too.
My worry is, what does well underway mean? I mean, the other game's been out for 9 years. Does that mean like they kicked it off when they released the other game, like most companies do, and they started like the pre-production stuff, and now they're like, it's well underway because I'm working on it for 9 years. We're like 40% done. So we're thinking 2032.
Hey,
I mean, they did Red Dead Redemption 2 in the meantime. They probably started like getting serious about GTA 6 after Red Dead Redemption 2 was, pretty well released and bug fixes out and the online going. And,
GTA 5 Online is probably going to hit the metaverse, and then they're going to use that as their dry run.
There you go. That sounds like
I'd be
great
surprised.
idea.
Well, if it hits the metaverse, then somebody's probably going to try to grab its virtual butt.
So what do you think the town, like what city do you think it's going to be based in? Because I've heard some speculations out there of like potentially going back to not Liberty City, going back to San Andreas. I've heard even on Miami, going back to like Vice City. I've also heard like, what's the other one I heard? It was like
Space. That was
Chicago maybe or something, like one of those. Like, so I don't know, it'd be cool. Like Atlanta would actually be pretty neat. Like to see
Chicago would
GTA.
be horrible. You'd have to worry more. Oh man, they could do a lot of gags with that. Like instead of worrying about the police, you have to worry about the crime instead because it's way worse.
I mean, I think they could play around with a Boston, and go a different set of accents with that. Try to,
could you imagine though, like getting enough
Irish
voice
mob.
actors for that?
Yeah.
I mean, the city of Boston would have so many voice acting jobs.
I mean, why not? You'd have Marky Mark and
he's the main character.
Yeah.
The whole
Now I could totally get behind that, especially when he takes his shirt off. Only if he takes his shirt off.
Yeah, his main character, only no shirt, and it's just him the whole time.
That'd be amazing. Wait a minute, actually. Where's
Well,
Bill Burr from? Is he from? Is he from
Bill Burr?
Boston?
Oh,
Like-
Bill Burr might be from Boston
probably.
too. You're
He
right.
is. Yeah, he's from Canton, so he's
Oh.
Yeah.
Bill
Isn't it
Burr could be
like
like
a-
one of the villains. I would pay so much. I'm pre-ordering this right now.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
Isn't it
uploading
like
this
Ben
to
Affleck?
Steam and pre-ordering this right now.
Ben
Bill
Affleck
Burr is
and
like the
Matt
main
Damon.
villain.
Yeah, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, I think, are both also Boston
They are.
too.
They are.
So
Just
I
Just
mean,
imagine
like,
the dialogue in a game like that.
What about Bill
Right?
Belichick? Can we have him show up too? Just
Sure,
to have
man.
a
Find anybody from.
Is he a
find
sports
anybody
ball
you
guy?
want.
like the
Sports
ad for the game would just be, "Do you live in Boston?
ball?
Do you
We
have a
got the game
voice?"
do you like the Boston accent? Ha ha! We're just fing with you. No one likes the Boston accent.
Use your indicator. Nice indicator. That's a
Yeah,
signal for those who don't know.
Why don't you go park
Oh.
the car so we can play some cards?
Yep. All of that. So yeah, we'll see how it comes out. Obviously, this is the first. This was just them kind of just get us to shut up about it, really. But even with that, it's still going to.
It's not even real. They're like smoke and
Yeah.
mirrors.
Yeah,
Exactly.
they're like,
Hey
"We'll get
guys,
to
if
it
it
when
makes
we
you
get
shut
to
up, we
it."
got GTA 7 and 8 coming too.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just sit down and wait for it. It's coming. It's on the way. Start calling them a
Damn,
liar, and they're just like, "No, we got these papers dated. The title was already created. 2014 GTA 6 and 2015 GTA 7.
They're well underway. They're
That's
all
pre-production
well
right there. We're already we're halfway there.
underway. Yep.
We've got the name.
Let's do it. Well,
It's super hard to figure those out.
Well, I say, but sir, it looks to me that someone's already copyrighted GTA 8. So
Oh, they've already got that covered. It's not GTA 8. It's actually Grand Theft Meta. The whole thing is about stealing stuff in the metaverse.
perfect.
Oh, somebody took all my NFTs.
Yeah, you're
That's
gonna
what
go
they're
and you're
gonna be
gonna
talking
steal
about.
this.
Yeah.
You're gonna steal this this bored ape NFT.
Oh, how many
You're gonna get
Bitcoin is
there.
it going to take for me to get it back?
The guy will tell you to, like, you'll go there and he's like, "Yeah, I need you to go to the bank and take this NFT." And you get there and you're like, "I don't see anything." And he calls you like, "Yeah, you're a dumbass." Like,
Idiot.
oh man. Anyway,
Oh, well, we didn't talk about Wordle in Kelly's Corner, so we've pushed it to the news.
so she's hit it in a different segment.
Yes. Did you not get your Wordle fix yet? Let's do this.
I haven't.
I've grown tired.
Oh,
of
really?
Wordle.
Yeah, I'm
So
kind of
today's, just in time, I'm sure. If you are one of the few people who hasn't gotten over it, I will admit I did twice last week or earlier this week. Forgot to play it. Started up, I like to take my time with Wordle and think about it. I don't want to make any unnecessary moves, and sometimes.
You are so like bougie about your Wordle. It's sickening. Like
I know,
it's so
I know.
ridiculous.
I was
It's-
thinking she was
it's
talking about something
stuff.
else, and this conversation was getting way too private.
Yeah, no.
I was like,
no.
"Whoa,
No.
don't overshare here."
I know. Hey,
Yeah, I'm gonna leave
chat
that.
pointed
I'm gonna
out,
leave
Venus
that.
White Star says wordling. It's a new word we have.
Oh yeah,
So it's coined tonight.
Yes. So I am totally wordling. I like to take my time and set things down, and then like think about it. It's like writing. When you get too into it, you're like, oh, you get stumped, and take a step away, and then I come back and I'm like, I figured it out. Today's was one of those days. But if
More
you
patience
are
than I have.
really still loving Wordle, and if you are afraid that it won't be free once the New York Times really gets into it, rumors are still that they're going to put it behind a paywall. You can actually right now download Wordle. All of Wordle for the next 5 years is within your grasp because Wordle's webpage has everything. When you open up Wordle, you're not going to some database and as soon as it hits midnight, there's a new word. It's actually all on the website itself. So take my advice, download it right now. Every single day, you'll still get your new Wordle. It'll still be or at least should be the same one everyone else gets. But instructions are pretty easy to follow. You just right click on it, save the web page, save as. I will repost this article in a tweet to everyone. It's a CNET article. I will repost this article in a tweet so that you can download it. You can download it to your computer or to your phone. There are instructions on downloading to an iOS or an Android. So enjoy your Wordling. Or I'll stop Wordling right now. If you're sick of Wordle but looking for something new, maybe try Dungeon. It is a brand new game. Phoenix Nova just played it earlier today. Wait,
this is literally my playthrough.
This is a spoiler.
Oops. Well, yeah,
Spoiler
but most
today.
people see this after the fact, so
yeah, that's true. Okay.
Well, spoiler for today,
or play it today and win.
Yeah,
play today and start with is
and there's the interesting thing about this is there's enough clues on this that you actually could win with what I showed, because
click that again and show the settings or the help, because it'll tell you the other.
I will. So the cool thing about Dungeon is it doesn't use letters. It uses symbols representing heroes, monsters and or villains, whatever you want to call it, and like treasure. And you're building a dungeon which has these different components in it. And very similar like Wordle, it tells you, it's here in this dungeon, but it's in the wrong place. It's here and it's in the right place. There's that. But it has additional things that you can see here, especially in turn number 3 there. You see that yellow one over on the right? It has a plus. That means, first of all, it's yellow, so it means it exists in the dungeon, but it's in the wrong place. But the plus means that there's 2 of them. So it has these additional hooks into it that you don't have in Wordle, which is, hey, there's maybe 2 of these things in your dungeon. So then that's why if you see that every time I tried after that, I have 2 of those bats.
Okay.
Until I got them to the right place. So if you see the last line, you can actually see that even though I didn't get it right, you would be able to solve this instantly with that information. I think the other cool thing is every dungeon has to have at least 1 hero and at least 1 monster.
Yes, that was.
So there's some rules that get around this, and it goes deeper than that because apparently there are certain characters, as it were, because there's only a limited amount of characters on the keyboard. The keyboard works identical to Wordle that, it tells you if it's not in the dungeon or not. But there are certain characters that will only appear in certain locations. Now, I don't know if that means this character only ever appears in position 3, but it could mean that this character will only appear to like the left of a skeleton or something like that. So there's these additional unspoken rules that you can pick up and learn about this game, very similar to how there are rules to the English language. Mm-hmm. Like if you have a Q, there's going to be a U after it, right? So it kind of builds on that same concept. There's rules to rules to the English language that give you hints onto what the word may be. This does a similar thing, but you just don't know what the rules are until you've played it many times.
Or if you're like Brian and you like Wordle and you're really good at games, raise your hand. Not so fast, Mike. Not so fast.
I'm so confused. Especially since I don't like Wordle.
He was saying earlier today that he was having a little trouble with Dungeon, so sorry.
I mean, granted, the one I showed for Dungeon, I didn't succeed at either.
Yeah.
But I think it's a cool little take, that's for sure.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Boss Monster in a way, because you're like building the dungeon,
Mm-hmm.
So here we go on a stance from a company or a website that I wouldn't have expected this necessarily from some like a company to kind of come out and say this, but they did. So there's a company called itch.io. If you're a indie developer, you're probably like, yeah, no, duh, that's where we go. Or if you're looking for indie games, itch.io is also a place to go and download and also pay. You can also buy these games from indie developers. And it's just another platform similar to like a Steam where it's has a lot of different games available, different genres, and but not, I wouldn't say the majority of the content I would say on Steam is probably of better content, like quality. But itch.io is basically anybody can kind of upload anything they're working on. So it's a much larger audience, really. So pretty cool on that. And but they came out and had a stance on NFTs, which we've been talking about recently. And they did that by tweeting out this tweet. It says, a few have asked about our stance on NFTs. NFTs are a scam. If you think they're legitimately useful for anything other than the exploitation of creators, financial scams, and the destruction of the planet, we ask that you please reevaluate your life choices. Peace. And in the comments to that, they replied to themselves and they said, oops, that is a please. That's why I said the extra word. And then they also said, F any company that says they support creators and also endorses NFTs in any way. They only care about their profit and the opportunity for wealth above anyone else, especially given the now easily available discourse concerning the problems of NFTs. How can you be so dense? So there is no question as to how itch.io feels about NFTs.
I love and appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're writing it from the itch.io account, so that's itch.io's apparently standpoint.
Arby's account writes certain things too that aren't necessarily the official view of Arby's Corporation. So what's your point? It's still a social media account.
So that brings me to another new segment that I just created today.
I mean, we have a new news segment. What? Wait, so wait, is this like a sub news segment?
This is a sub segment. You ready?
Sub segment. Okay.
Oh, I mean,
it's called Stupidity of the Week. I was hoping he had something else there. I was waiting for like a new song. I thought he figured it out. So, on the subject of NFTs, Ubisoft, or however you would like to pronounce it, since they're all apparently correct, celebrated its employees, their hard work, by giving them NFTs. I can't.
Oh god.
Wait, did they give them NFTs from their game that they're doing the NFTs of?
So it says that celebrating
say no, because that's even worse.
Their 20th anniversary of Ghost Recon franchise, the company also started giving out NFTs to their employees. So, yeah. And it says, with the opening of the Ubisoft Quartz platform in December, we thought of creating an exclusive digit for you, the Ghost Recon 20th anniversary cap, said an announcement to the Ubisoft employees, according to this Kotaku article. So if you want to receive this exclusive digit, we will insert it into your crypto wallet on the 9th of March.
Wait, they don't even get it right now?
No, March 9th.
So,
wait, hold on.
They created an NFT hat, which is hilarious because we've talked about how Steam sells the F out of hats all the time with a simple database. But they created an NFT hat that they are going to give to their employees, which of course they can then sell, because at any time they sell it, Ubisoft gets a cut of that sale.
Yep.
Because it's not a true open, decentralized, because that's the big, like, I'm not going to sit there.
That. Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and say that NFTs are completely useless. I don't necessarily think that quite the right use has been found for them yet. Although some artists have been able to go from struggling artists to like being able to pay for stuff with it. So, I mean, that's a positive. But Ubisoft's implementation of Quartz and the NFTs is beyond ridiculous.
Yeah.
Specifically to that one. So they're giving this to their employees to sell, which is the only use is to promote Quartz, their NFT platform.
We're not supposed to sell it. We're supposed to keep it forever, Brian. It's a gift from their employer.
There's no way they gave it to them to not sell.
Yeah, they definitely gave it to them to sell.
Man.
2, nobody's going to buy it.
Well, people will buy
3,
it.
they don't get it until March 9th.
Well, think about it. It's a thing that only employees got. So there's going to be somebody out there that wants to buy it because they're not going to be able to get it anywhere else.
I'll agree with that.
No, there's another layer to that, actually, is that there's so many people making fun of it that the diehard NFT community that refuses to back down on the fact that the majority of NFTs are useless are going to buy them based on principle to prove that they have monetary value.
Yeah.
Yep.
And added on to that, which is an interesting thing, is that the way Quartz is set up, you can only own one of a type of item. So it's not like a collector can buy 10 of these and then like sell off 1 or 2 or 3 once the price goes up and then, hold on to the others as they appreciate in value. From the same crypto wallet. You have separate crypto wallets, then yes, you could buy more than one in theory. But good gracious, that's...
It's going to be interesting because that like 95% of the company is not even going to know how to access to sell this thing. So they're just going to like 95% of these NFTs. And I'm being really, really generous with how many I think are going to disappear. 95% is on the low end. I'm actually going to bet it's going to be more like 99.8% of them are going to never make it out of wherever the heck they're placed for these people in the first place.
Yeah, because it is said. It is said in what Zycia said, if you want to receive this exclusive digit, we will inject it into your crypto wallet on the 9th of March. So you have to go to the trouble of setting up a crypto wallet for which is, let's be honest,
Ubisoft.
Which isn't super difficult. Well, no, like my understanding is compatible with, I think it's compatible with any crypto wallet they'll accept Ethereum. I could be wrong on that, but I thought it was. But yeah, you have to go. My understanding is it's not a lot of effort to set up a crypto wallet, but I haven't done it. So I'm speaking of complete ignorance here, to be fair.
So I've set up a couple.
I am not a crypto trader, so don't take any advice from me.
So setting the crypto wallet through a legit source, like an actual crypto like company that's apparently like legal or whatever, it does require you to provide a social security number, a driver's license, front and back, and they have to actually authenticate your your identity to make sure that you're a real person and that this is a thing. So
yeah. So it's not super simple either. Yeah. I mean, I would probably equate it to like setting up an online checking account.
Yeah. I mean, it's not super hard, but it is something that you'll have to have a lot of information to provide.
Right.
To get that. And it takes a couple of days to verify typically.
So you have to put some level of effort into it and then they'll inject it into your wallet.
Yeah. But there's also other wallets that don't
dirty.
ask for any of this stuff. That you just set it up, you put your hash in, and then you're good. Like you just save it and just don't lose the key or the passphrase or whatever it is. So also in our stupidity of the week, I have another article here, and it's by Intel. Intel has come up with new technology. You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing in Intel's pay-as-you-go CPU. Okay.
Wait, what?
So it goes into a little bit more than this, but it's talking about how their new set of CPUs are going to be officially supported by Linux, and all these different things. But the idea is going into a scalable sense of PCs. So with the whole infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and all those different things that the cloud brings, they're basically going to allow you to purchase up to different speeds, different amount of like hard drive. And I mean, it's just like all this craziness that you can scale based on how much money you want to pay for your PC. So,
Well,
like,
no, not for your PC.
well, for
This
PCs,
is
like server-wise.
this is enterprise level hardware here. This is goes into
okay.
servers.
Well, this makes
Yes.
okay. I can.
But
this is a Xeon. It's like it's a ginormous CPU.
But it's like the jokes that I was reading on Reddit. Some of the comments were like, so imagine you're this company that has paid for the subscription of whatever because you're housing all this data and like you have a service. It's all these API calls and blah blah blah, and like you didn't pay the bill, so everything gets reduced back down to the lowest level.
So
right.
I worked at a company once where
Oh my
this
God.
pretty much happened.
Yeah, it's oh man, the idea of like they're gonna charge you based on what you use for that level of hardware is
Cat meow.
wild. Because I mean, you think about it. That means the chip that's there is capable of doing the highest end of whatever they're charging, but yet they're going to limit it to only allow you to get what you pay for, essentially.
Well,
Subscription services
think
have
this is-
definitely gone beyond.
Yeah.
It's like paying for cloud services.
Oh, as long as we're talking about, like you said, enterprise level services, that's great. Not my PC though.
Well,
I think it's an interesting concept for data centers because
Yes,
I mean the whole
absolutely.
reason why you do data centers and virtual machines is that if you have an application that you're using for your corporation that needs a whole bunch of cores, but you only need it during when you're working
Peak
on
times.
something
Mhm.
at peak times.
Yeah.
Great way to say it. That you're only paying for the number of cores for that time, right?
Yeah.
So that's the end customer. The
Mhm,
data
mhm.
center still has all those cores sitting there. And
Yeah.
granted, if they're not doing a whole bunch of work, they're not chewing up a whole bunch of energy, but they're still doing some, background idle. So I wonder if the whole concept here is that then gives the data center the same ability to really ramp down and save on items, save on energy and stuff. Again, they have to pay for, pay as you go, blah, blah, CPU, but that might be less than having to pay for the energy of having all the cores up all the time.
I think it's
So-
just ridiculous that someone's going to pay for hardware for this massive chip to sit in their machine that they can't use the whole potential of it. I get the
Well,
cloud
again,
thing.
if you have a data center, like each one of these has 57 basically CPUs on it. So if you had, and like the average server might have 2 or 4 of these CPUs in it, so like 200 some odd cores per server, and you scale that up through a big old data center. If they see like massive decreases during the night, then they pay less on energy and they're obviously paying less to Intel. And then they scale up when they need it.
The idea of the scalability, but my point is like they're paying for a chip that they can't actually get the full potential unless they pay more money monthly or however.
But if but the whole point is they're not paying for it.
Mhm.
The whole point is you pay as you go. You're not paying for the chip
Mhm.
outright. You're paying as you go.
And
So
Yeah, because
You
your
didn't buy
alternative
the
would
chip.
be you'd have to buy a chip that's unlocked, which probably costs 4 times
Right.
as much,
yeah, and I
Mhm.
get that. It's still wild.
or
though.
10
Like,
times as much.
or 10 times.
Because
as
if it's an ongoing thing that you're paying
I don't know,
for it, like
maybe-
one
maybe like some of us are just so accustomed to stuff like this that like, I mean, to me it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
where my line is like with like the way that Tesla handles the technology in their cars, where like Papa Elon can just be like, yo, this guy, I don't want him using power charging stations anymore. And it's like, boop,
Mhm.
congratulations, you can no longer charge your vehicle at any power station in the United States of America. Get wrecked.
Yeah,
Like
well,
that,
no,
not
but
to mention-
that's
messed up.
still the same thing that can happen here. Like if something goes wrong and they have an accounting issue where they thought you didn't pay your bill,
true.
and this company loses, X amount of hours of, whatever. Like it's the same idea. Like they can.
Well, again, the same thing
everything.
can happen to the end customer who is trying to get a number of
Sure.
cores out of virtual
Mm.
machine. The same. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just
yeah, I mean, there's a difference there. Like let's say that there is an accounting error and they shut down somebody's business, they lose money, right? You can give that money back. Let's say somebody's on a road trip and they're trying to charge their Tesla at some random power station, and they suddenly find that they're locked and they can't do it, and their phone's out of service. Now they're freezing their ass off in the middle of the Northwest without a working vehicle because Tesla messed up. That's a lot different because there's a physical implication to it. I mean,
What
I
if
guess
they're-
there could be a physical implication to the workplace if the guy loses a bunch of money and decides to jump off the roof or something.
Well, what if they're like a 911 call center and that's what they're being powered by, and then they get shut down because they don't have enough cores?
Well,
I mean, it just
Right,
depends on the
again-
situation. But I mean, it's,
again that could,
I-
regardless of this chip, that could still happen with virtual
Yeah,
machines because the 911 center is the end customer. They're not the data
I
center.
mean, that could still happen without that. Like
So-
in
Exactly.
so many
Yeah.
ways. Like
It
somebody
can
could
happen right
drive into
now.
a post outside the 911 call center
Yeah.
and knock out the power, and guess
Yeah.
what? You have no more call center.
Somebody's UPS fails during a thunderstorm. and-
Somebody lights
yeah.
on fire. I don't know.
Mm.
Personally, I think this is a cool way that data centers can take advantage of the same concept of scaling and saving
Mhm.
money
I'm
that they offer to their customers.
I'm instantaneously thinking about Final Fantasy 14 and their most recent launch
Yeah.
because their most
I mean,
recent
also-
launch was an issue with like having resources, and if they had the opportunity to buy a bunch of these at a lower cost, they could have just upped the amount that they were paying for their physical data center, and then boom, their unlocked chips now gave them 2 times the resources than what they would have had,
and then dump it down when they
and
didn't
then
need
dump
it
it
as
down
much
when
anymore.
they need it anymore.
Well, and
Exactly.
also we've been talking about number of cores. The really cool thing about this is this chip doesn't just turn on and off cores. It turns on and off specific features within the CPU as well. So if there are certain features that are not needed for your data center, for like, advanced computational, for like, big data analysis or something like that, if that's not needed, you don't have to pay for it. So, I mean, that's pretty cool too.
all right. We'll take it out of the stupidity of the week. We had.
I was
one, at least.
literally about to
there's
say,
good
I think
jokes.
I'm gonna move this one out from under the.
I will admit that there are-
going to make a new
subsegment.
column, and it's going to be a new subsegment called "Smartass of the Week."
Stuff we
Yeah.
took
No.
out of stupidity of the week. That's actually pretty
Not
smart.
so stupid of the week.
I feel
Yeah,
it's
okay,
fine
it's
in
been
here
bumped up.
because on the surface, there are some great jokes to make about this.
Adding to the
I will
stupidity of the
definitely
week,
say that.
Zycius comments on Intel pay-as-you-go.
Oh man.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's that.
Well, okay. So if you really want the stupidity of the week, it is something that happened that I read the article and I was like, oh, is this article something about like something that happened in like 2003 or something like that? So apparently Mazda had set up in their cars the ability with their infotainment center to accept in pictures through the FM radio bands. Now this makes sense because
Yeah.
as radio has, well, let's say in some ways declined, they have been looking on ways to bring customers back, add feature and functionality to it. You've got the HD radio, which I have accessible in my Jeep, and it provides a little bit more fidelity and a couple more radio stations all around, like different versions of the radio station all around the same like tuning area. It's and it allows buffering. I think it multicasts at different times across the different bands, so it gives you some buffering.
Well, in this what you're talking about, I've got not old car, but an older model car. And
This is what she's gonna censor. This is the thing that she's not gonna say out loud.
I'm trying to get better at doxing myself.
Not doxing yourself.
Not doxing
Doxy
myself.
Moxie.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, thank you.
This
yeah.
is funny. Like, this is what she's gonna censor is the make
So-
and model
Right.
of her car.
Yeah, it
So you got an older vehicle.
older-ish. I wouldn't call it old.
Does it have HD
because I do
radio?
have a very old vehicle that I love and adore. But if you can click the info button and it will tell you, if you're like,
Yeah.
what song is this? Oh,
It tells
click
you who the
info
artist
button.
is.
Yeah. What
but I
song
think that-
it
some of
is.
them-
Yeah, the name of the radio station. Not always though. Yes.
But I think that has to do
And
with the
some
radio
of
station
them-
itself. Like, if
The
they're-
radio-
Well, yeah, it's
Well,
what they
to-
broadcast
to-
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
to Brian's point, the radio station has
Yeah.
to broadcast that out with the FM straight.
Again,
zone.
as they started losing their audience, they were finding ways to add more feature and functionality to the radio waves that they were sending out. Now,
Yeah.
one of the things that they had added was being able to like send out pictures of
Mhm.
like the cover art of that particular album. Well, apparently there was a radio station in Seattle.
An
that just
NPR
recently-
radio station, by the way.
Yeah, an NPR radio station. At 94.9 FM, they sent out pictures, but they didn't put extensions on the end of them, like .jpg for JPEG or PNG. And apparently there was a unknown bug in certain Mazda cars 2014 to 2017 in their infotainment centers that if they received picture information that did not have an extension, it would cause the infotainment center to reboot, to which it still has that information stored somewhere, cause it to reboot again. It gets into a reboot lock and completely bricks the infotainment center. Depending on what you have in that, which I don't know about you guys, but in order to change what vents my air comes out of, I have to go to my infotainment center.
Oh.
Now, I'm not as bad as a Tesla, where a Tesla has things like your windshield wipers on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, depending on what's on that, you could actually lose a significant number of features out of your vehicle, and not just your radio / DVD CD player or MP3 / USB / Bluetooth player for your phone. So the only thing, you can't get it out of this reboot lock once it gets into there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $1,500 replacement.
The
to fix it.
CMU, right?
Yeah, the CMU.
So, who
But-
has to pay for that?
Wait for it. The CMUs you can't get because supply chain.
And the cars were made back in 2017.
Yeah. So the only radio station that you can listen to is that station that it's basically stuck on. So you can listen to the radio, just only that station, which if you are a lover of NPR, as some of us are, that's not so bad. But every once in a while, maybe you want to listen to some music, or, your kids are in the car and they want to listen to freaking Kids Bop again, or the Encanto soundtrack. No dice.
Yeah.
No dice.
So Mazda did step up and try to help. Ars Technica is where this article is, which is a great site to go check it out, please. They got a lot of great technical articles. But Mazda actually told Ars Technica that it has distributed service alerts to dealers advising them about the problem. And although replacement MCUs in that case are currently delayed, they should be replaced free of charge. These customers should contact their local Mazda dealer and can submit a goodwill request to Mazda warranty department on their behalf, order the parts, schedule a free repair when the parts arrive. So good on Mazda for going back and fixing this bug from 2014 that was just found now in 2022.
Because of this one radio station that messed up on their own. So
yeah. And I think the funniest tweet I saw about this was somebody actually tweeted out, well, that's over-the-air software updates for you. Being able to get an update over FM radio that ends up changing your car and breaking your infotainment center.
Absolutely.
I mean, what a vulnerability. Like, in all seriousness, too, that's a type of vulnerability. So you have something that can affect the infotainment center. I'll bet that someone can then use this to do other things with the infotainments, like inject other code into the infotainment center. So that's a weird vulnerability through the FM HD, is because it is specifically for the HD radio.
Can someone
band.
hack into my car and then be like discount like Dollar General Knight Rider?
I mean, maybe.
Why not? You don't want somebody hacking your car and just say dumb crap while you're driving around?
I
mean, it would be amusing.
I don't know.
Yeah, at least amusing.
I do know.
I've got ways, and I mean that says some fun stuff. So that's
there was an over-the-air vulnerability for Jeeps. It was Jeep Cherokees and a couple other things. It was like you had to be. There was certain restrictions where it wasn't like anyone could do this very easily, but it was possible where they could do things like change your climate control. They could also mess with a couple other things, but most scarily, they could turn off your engine or put your transmission into neutral.
Yep.
While you were driving.
What if somebody used that knowledge for good? Like they hacked into a bunch of vehicles in like a busy city like Atlanta, and then they found all the people that were definitely not using their signals and just like hacked into their car stereo and was like, use your signal, jackass. And the person was
like, nice signal, jackass.
If there was a real Deadpool, I would think it'd be Bruno. Like,
wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Or they could just write an automated program that linked into the GPS that they have in their cars anyway. And every time that they detected that they went to start changing lanes or turns, it turns their signal on for them. I mean, better late than never type thing.
Well, I'm not going to not teach them, but like just do it for them. No,
exactly.
I want them to understand that they're wrong.
Oh no, actually, you can still do the warning message each time, automated as well. But at least then the people around them know.
I'd do something like I'd come over personally and be like, we've detected that you failed to use your signal. Please enjoy this 8 hours of Baby Shark, brought to you by yourself.
They turn the car off like, oh God, I'm glad that's there. They turn back on.
It's like, you have 7 hours, 16 minutes, and 37 seconds of Baby Shark. Don't forget to use your signals. Goodbye.
And this is measured in drive time only.
Yeah, it has to be drive.
I need a new car.
Not parked.
I need a new car.
It's funny is actually my parents just told me recently when they were on the way over that they got pulled over. And I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, we got pulled over by a cop. And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, so the guy came up and said, what can I help you with? Like, what's up? And the cop's like, well, is there a reason you didn't use your turn signal back there? And my dad's like, no, I just didn't use it, I guess. My bad. Sorry. The cop's like, all right, cool. Here's a warning, but make sure you use your blinker next time. I was like, wow.
Good. You know what?
Good for that cop.
Good. Absolutely. I cannot tell you how often. Oh my gosh.
I've already said that if my kid, like when he turns a teenager and starts driving, I've already said that like he's going to get probably the worst punishment from me if I find out he drives around and doesn't use a blinker. Like that is what's going to trigger me more.
If he doesn't use his indicator.
If he uses his indicator.
Right. taking
So
up to
I'm
Boston.
like, that is going to be a thing. So anyway,
You guys keep making me think of. Have you guys? This is a side note, but it'll be fun for anybody that looks for this guy. There's a dude who does real car commercials, but he has like a thick Boston accent, and he does like those. He's got like entire videos where they do those stupid commercials where like they're like, "What kind of a car do you think this is?" And it's like obviously like a Chevy Sonic or something, but they're like, "Oh my gosh, I think this is like a BMW." It's like, no, I think this is a Mercedes. Well, he like superimposed himself in this video. He's like, "That's a Sonic." You can tell because it looks like a piece of shit. And he does all these literal trailers or like literal commercials like that. He does it with the Burger King Whopper, and they're like, "Oh, I see that this is like made by like a 5-star restaurant." He's like, "That's a Whopper. This is definitely a Whopper. You could tell because it tastes like poor people."
oh my.
Shit.
That's awesome.
He's like, "I'm not complaining. I love me a Whopper, but this is definitely not a 5-star burger. What are you smoking, Karen?" That's great. Should look him. I gotta find his name, but he's great.
You get to find it. Tell us because I'm following them right now.
The two Utes. That's Southern though. No, like Bruno, that was fairly decent accent considering you normally do Canadian.
Oh, I do pretty good accents. I do.
I think
sure.
the two Utes was it Boston or was it
Georgia?
New York?
It's Georgia.
No, it's not. No, it's not. The movie takes place.
Oh no, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So no, I agree with you. It was like, was it New Jersey? Was he from New Jersey?
Yeah. Peanut butter mongoose. Tell us.
I know
Yeah.
Jens is from PA.
Yins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Jens.
true.
Oh, the
Anyway.
guy's channel is Zebra Corner.
Zebra corn.
I just plugged this guy for no reason, but his stuff.
My cousin Vinny. That's
Yeah,
what he referred to.
but my cousin Vinny, he was from New York or was he from New Jersey?
Jersey. I thought he was from Jersey, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I frequently am.
Almost picked up some water to drink. Almost drank water.
So
I'm
Bruno,
ready
what do you got to close us out here?
To close us out, I have the biggest story of gaming news ever. There's never been a bigger game. It's so big that I hadn't heard about it
Oh my god.
until today.
This is
But
a
it
third
is
reference
kinda-
to that guy that I've heard today, and I just don't care to hear it.
It is kind of interesting, I guess. It's America's Army is finally going away. It's done. It's a game created by the U.S. Army. It's like as a recruitment platform. It's a free to play, like military style game to entice people to join the U.S. military. That was created in 2002, I think, is what I had read.
About 20
But
years.
anyways, it's run all the way through, and the last update I think it's a 2013 it was released. The game's kind of just been out there with like some general support, and they said that they're finally shutting it down and changing their efforts to working on some communication related stuff for the U.S. Army as opposed to working on the game, but that they may come back in the future and create a new title.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's.
Yeah.
I mean, I get why they did it, and I get why they're shutting it down. I mean, there's so many games out nowadays that are the same genre that, like, you could have the same kind of like people playing those type of games. Just you don't have to support it and make it anymore, right? Like, I mean, Arma's huge. Arma's like massive online, like where people always like if you're into military shooter, you're playing Arma, and then you have you got Arma, and you have there's Squad that's out there. There's I mean, what's another like Rainbow Six even? Well, I would say the new Rainbow Six more like
COD.
arcade style.
I mean,
but,
COD is a lot of-
Call of Duty.
But I mean,
is
there's
another one.
there's that side of it, but there's the
Battlefield,
other
yeah.
side of it that there has been massive backlash against the armed services recruiting kids.
Yeah. Well,
And-
that
and-
too.
and
then
don't get
also
me wrong,
what they're
the
killing,
American
right? Like
Army.
they're-
Good.
I'll just say just what like there was an article recently that we talked about, or not recently, probably couple months ago now, but they were basically depicting like, white male army guys from the US killing like Middle Eastern, brown people. Like they even called it like you're just, taking out the brown people. And it's like that's
Yeah,
not
but that
great.
was
okay.
that was a game developer with a presser that they were doing. That was not
right.
the
I'm
Army
saying,
stuff.
but that is still like the, what do you call it? The I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but it's basically like what people think about it. Like that's how, like it's so desensitized now that that's what people, just it's just another brown person. You got to kill that person because why not? And it's like that's not,
but I mean that isn't as related with this game. I mean that was a specific developer and oppressor that they were doing. And yeah, I get what you're saying that there's a lot of games like that as well. But I mean the biggest backlash against this is especially because we also reported on it where the I think the Navy's the Navy's YouTube channel was involved peripherally. Secondly, and I think it was either the Army or maybe the Marine YouTube channel was first involved with it, where they lashed out at the people commenting because the commenters were like going, "Oh, you're recruiting kids and this is terrible. You shouldn't be doing this. How do you like, supporting, an organization that kills civilians because some of the things that happened in the news at the time." And, and I mean, actually I haven't checked back to see, how that's been going since then. I know we did a follow-up
chat. They did. I think they blocked chat after that, and it was made it even worse
they
because people were
did.
like, "Oh wow, you censored us!" Like on top of this, like
they did, and then we had a follow up on that where they unlocked chat again, and they were doing a little bit better. But I certainly don't know how they've been doing since. But I mean, I can tell you, going to the conventions, I've frequently seen where the armed services, especially the Army, has purchased booth space. And they are legit doing recruiting.
Well,
at the conventions.
Yeah. So I definitely, going to a convention like that, I can absolutely see doing recruiting 100%.
Yeah. Schools are doing it too.
Yeah. I mean,
JROTC, like it's basically
about to say,
Civil Air Patrol, like all that's like.
I meant schools were going to the conventions and recruiting for people to come to the schools. But yes, your point as well as I see that schools also do recruiting for the armed services. So both apply. Yes.
Young people are going to these conventions. So that's a great place to recruit for sure. And you know what? If they're going to pay for the spot, they might as well, so.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm an Army brat. Like, I have no problem with the military.
Yeah.
I am,
same.
All for armed services and the veterans out there that have,
I almost went into the military.
I was in the military.
It's a great opportunity for those who, need something in their life and don't have a lot and want to be able to make a life for themselves. It's a great opportunity.
It's a great place to go if you do have a lot in your life and you have everything and you just want to make a difference. So
but on the way of being pushy and being sneaky, because I think that's really the issue is with the way they were recruiting with that was being very sneaky about it, trying to manipulate kids into wanting to do it.
And doing it with people that are, or kids, because that's thank you, I see that's a good way to say it.
Kids,
they're doing it with kids that are like 16, 15, 14, 13, which that's where it gets kind of cagey. Like if you're talking to 17 and 18-year-olds, yes.
Yeah, I do know a lot of kids who are recruited in high school.
I was.
I mean, I was part of Civil Air Patrol
17,
when I was in like 7th grade or something like that.
Not going to dox myself again. Was part of something.
This episode.
Yeah, exactly. I'm doing really good this episode. It's not
this
over.
This is gonna be great.
Kelly.
I can't wait for the title for this one.
Yeah, we'll find out. But I mean, that's. I mean, the future of the military has always been younger folks, right? So, where are you going to go?
So I guess I want to get an opinion from Bruno since you're from Canada. What was like the militia recruiting up there? Did you guys have like a militia? Do you guys still have something like that?
No.
Mounties. They have Mounties.
Isn't it like
Love the
like
Mounties.
Bullwinkle
Love the
and
Mounties.
what was that thing? Like
That's not what that means, Day Drinker.
Oh no. Oh yeah,
Rocky
no.
Bullwinkle.
Oh, I know. When you go to what is it? The music festival in Tennessee, Manchester, Tennessee. It is
Bonnaroo.
Bonnaroo. Thank you.
Ding, ding, ding.
Why did that leave my head? They have the Canadian Mounties there instead of the U.S. police. So,
But
So
no,
there is-
seriously, Bruno,
there's
my
the
question
Canadian
was
Armed
for real
Forces.
though.
Mhm.
Yeah, like do
there's the
they?
Canadian
How
Armed
is the
Forces, a
recruiting
unified
there?
It's the same.
Well-
It's the same deal, effectively.
Okay.
Like when you're underage, they try and get you into cadets, which is like, I guess your version is something
Like
called
ROTC.
yeah, like ROTC.
Mhm.
And then once you're of age, it's the same idea. They'll like
Okay.
show up at like career fairs depending on if you're in a major city or not. Like if you're in like the middle of nowhere, then nobody goes out there because it's Canada. But they just like they just hit you up and they're like, hey, like we can set you up. You can go to school for free. Blah 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 blah. You get paid. Probably never see war. It'll be fine. It'll be cool. Sick. You'll like it. You'll learn a lot. Same deal. And then you go and you do all those things, and then you leave, and you have like a 90% chance of being treated terribly.
Oh.
Oh my god. So
Rip.
not much different from here then.
No,
Okay.
not much different at all.
I don't know. I would say that
Oh.
the vast majority of my friends and family who were in the military were not treated horribly and had it's a job's a job, right? Like, it's still
The
a
issue
job.
is never like when you're in
Yeah.
the military, really.
Yeah.
It's like
Okay.
the after, I think. I
Okay.
mean, I think it's an issue based on everything I've heard. I think it's an issue in both countries where like,
Yeah.
like you're fine when you're there, and then once you're gone, they're like,
No.
see ya.
Yeah, I think he's talking about more of not the people around him, but the actual
Yeah.
like the military itself treating like veterans that are
Yeah,
like,
like
already
the system afterwards.
the VA
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. The VA.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Mhm.
Yeah, we have words
Well,
for that. Anyway,
which is
That's the thing.
apparently taken a downturn
So it's like
the
almost
last
identical. Is what
6
I'm
or so
saying.
years.
Okay.
yeah. So that is what got our attention. No, I'm kidding. That's what it got our news for this week. Give us a few minutes
That's
and
what got our news for this week. That's
give
going
us
to
a
be
few
the headline.
minutes.
That's
We're
what got
gonna
our
take
news
a
for this
break,
week.
and we'll be back after this word from our sponsor. And we're back. Hey, it's the first thing that I've done right so far. So there's that.
You've done a
And
lot right. You've
Kelly,
done a
I'll
lot
probably
right.
edit, so I'll keep that part in that you said.
Thanks.
I'll make sure to do the same. So, what we've been playing this week, we actually this game of the moment. This week, our Tuesday was trivia again. So I said that a little bit earlier. Spoiler, I messed up the ending, but it was still a good time. Not much to talk about it really, other than the fact that when we do host trivia, it seems right now it's like bi-weekly. That may change or that may stay with it. We need feedback from you guys listening and you guys who participate. Let us know in our Discord. Let us know if that's something you'd like to see, or you just think it's a waste of time, or that you do enjoy it, you want to see it more, or you think bi-weekly is great, or however you want to do. So let us know on that. That's great. And it's really easy to play. What?
And Mike said he was going to give a prize next time.
Oh yeah, and then I'm going to give out a prize next time. So
And it
For
will
all
not
the
be his
mistakes.
farts in a bottle, because
It will
we all
not
know
be
that leads
NFTs
trips to the
of
hospital.
farts.
Yeah, that didn't work out.
I'm going to give you guys a
SAS
SASS gaming NFT is what I'm going to do. But yeah, so if you want to
Oh
play
my
with us
God,
on
stop.
trivia, you can you basically join the stream. There's a website to go to and a code to type in, and then you're basically on your phone or your browser and on your PC, and you're able to play with us. And it's a fun time. Usually lasts about it was about like 30 to 45
hour.
minutes this time.
Yeah, about 40,
Not
30,
very
45
long.
minutes. Yeah,
So
yeah, we
just
didn't-
something quick to
yeah.
do on a Tuesday night and have fun with us and hang out, and maybe we'll do some marbles or something after that. So there's that. All right, I will let Demurin take over, because I know he's really excited to talk about this new game.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty stoked about this game. I haven't been this excited about an MMORPG in wow, I don't actually know. A long time, like many years. Lost Ark, a game that was originally released in Korea by a developer called Smilegate 4 years ago. It's a game that has been fairly anticipated for an NA release, and it kind of just kept getting postponed. And now it's here. And I've been playing a lot of it since the Head Start kicked off 3 days ago. Kicked off on Tuesday. So, to my knowledge, I didn't get to play during the day, but to my knowledge, there were no real launch issues with server stability, which is pretty surprising. The top 3 East servers and top 3 EU servers still have massive queues up until today in the amount of 7,000 to 14,000 people around prime time. The developer has pretty much just been like, what? Sucks to suck, I guess. Because they have plenty of other servers that have room. It's just that's where a lot of the streamers went. So much like New World, who amusingly shares a publisher but not a developer. They're having the same issue where everybody just wants to pack into the same select couple of servers with their favorite streamers. And as such, it's created a less than ideal gaming scenario for a lot of people. But aside from that, the first 2 days were free of any issues. Today, I'm covering the controversy first, and then I'll talk about the game a little bit. Today was the first big thing. There was, in what seems to be Amazon Game Studios fashion, a duplication bug. 4% of players in the Head Start were impacted and either got duplicate founders packs, which could be worth a lot of money because the top founders pack is 100 USD, or they got duplicate Twitch drops. I am one of those players who got duplicate Twitch drops. My Twitch drops were duplicated 4 times.
What?
So I've already made my post for them to deal with that. Smilegate, not Amazon Game Studios, is more involved in it. Amazon Game Studios was like, oh no, it's broken. Help. And Smilegate was like, all right. So they've identified 4% of the player base, and they feel confident in their ability to go through and delete every single item that should not be there, including anything people have made off of trying to sell said items from the founder pack. They don't want to just outright ban people because, unfortunately, some people got extra stuff like by mistake. The game itself, though, is awesome. It's like an action RPG similar to like in the vein of Diablo 3 or Path of Exile, but it's a full-blown MMORPG with a ridiculous amount of content, a really impressive story. I feel like, I don't know, man, like the story just is too good for what I expected. If you were watching this instead of listening to it, you would be seeing some of the game footage, but the bosses are really well planned out. There's a lot of good design throughout this game, from level design, gear, bosses, just general dungeon setups, end game content. The end game is like super vast. There's like sailing in it. There's like these little mystery islands that all have their own shtick. Like
it
out
looks
the gate,
beautiful.
You hit 50 and you go through some more of the quest line, and you eventually unlock chaos dungeons, which are like a daily thing that you run, like a minimum of twice a day, effectively, or in some cases for high level ones, a maximum of twice a day. But they're like greater rifts from Diablo 3. You go in there alone or with 4 people, and you just like try and beat the timer and go up through like the tiers, the higher gear score gets. There's like guardian raids where you just go in with 4 people and you fight a boss. It's just a raid boss. It's kind of like Monster Hunter-esque. You show up in a map, the boss is somewhere out in the map unmarked. You can shoot a flare to try and locate its like where it is, or you can just go and hunt this monster down. Then once you find it, you cannot see its HP bar, and you and your team do not get to heal. There's no potions available when you're in there. You straight up have to beat it with combat items and whatever the classes that you guys have. give you in terms of ability. So if you don't have a healer in your group, then you have to beat it with shields and dodging mechanics appropriately, or you just die. You get like, everybody gets, at lower levels at least that I've done, everybody gets 3 reses. So once everybody has used their 3 reses, it's over. Like, you just failed the mission and you get kicked out.
You know when the developer gives you 3 reses a piece, that it's hard.
Yeah, I did the first one and I was like, oh, this is really easy. And then I did the second one and it absolutely destroyed us. I was like, oh, okay. The first one was like your intro for sure. And then this guy's like, I'm just going to completely mess you up. So that was before
Mike, you shouldn't
we
even
did the
try.
podcast. So
I'm not playing this.
I redid my entire build. So after we're done here, I'm actually going to go and try and beat it again. And I have like I'm a gun lance. So I have a whole build set up that's like every one of my abilities who gives me shields, gives my entire group shields, debuffs the mob's armor, or just like adds a ton of stagger to the monsters because you can knock them over similar to how you knock over monsters in Monster Hunter. So you can build stagger amounts on them and use counters at the right time to increase the stagger bar even more a fair amount and just like topple them. And then once they're toppled, everybody just gets to beat them up for like 10 seconds or 15 seconds. It's great. And then there's like a bunch of other stuff that we haven't even touched on. The lead game designer, producer, whatever, from Korea, he already did an interview and he said that they intend to release all of the content that exists in Korea and Japan that's been out for 4 years. Like those have been out for 4 years. All the content they have up until now, he wants to get the NA and EU version caught up in the next 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
He said, if anything, we expect that players in North America over the course of this next year are going to be telling us to stop updating the game. Like he's like, our goal is to make people legitimately say, stop, you're updating it too much. There's too much content to go through.
There's just a stupid amount of variety that I've seen in this. Like they had something that looked like a sci-fi cryo bed to something that looked like they were sneaking around at a haunted house, to another one where they're going through like stereotypical like woods and stuff like that, to another one where they were fighting a boss standing on the top of a blackjack table.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like, we're not even a week into the game. We're 3 days into the game, and my guild leader has already proposed us doing a 460 gear score world boss run this Saturday. So I fully intend to be there for that. I'm currently at 410 gear score. So that's tier 3 end game. That's where it's at. I think like the max you can get to right now is like 600 or 700.
Yeah, and it's not just an action RPG like Diablo. It's got resource gathering, like mining and cutting down wood? Like I saw mushroom trees.
It does.
It's got mushroom trees, so it's got wood of some type. So it's got crafting on top of that.
There's an entire housing mechanic in the game that feeds into all those things. So it
is sailing.
You own a stronghold, and then in the stronghold you do research for your crafting. You make people gather materials. You have missions run out, and then you can upgrade your ship. You can increase its speed, its fortitude, things like that, because the ocean that you sail through has areas that have massive storms, or they have like what are they called, sirens and stuff. So you have you build your crew, and some characters that you collect from doing story quests throughout the world, they have like affinities against sirens, so like they're less impacted by the ability of the sirens to like lure your people into the sea. So like there's just so much content in this game. I've barely scratched the surface.
I mean, parts of it literally looked like a third-person Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, it's honestly the most satisfying MMORPG that I have played since Terra Online, like a decade ago.
Wow.
And there you have it, folks. There's a first look at Lost Ark.
For an MMORPG, I'm giving it a 9.1 out of 10.
Holy
crap.
They
apparently even seem to have their own version of the Infinity Stones in it.
They have a lot of weird stuff in this game. I feel like they took a lot of inspiration from different things, because there's an old animated movie called Fern Gully I swear there's an entire location completely themed after it.
There's
the storyline and everything.
Location. Oh
there's
my
a Ferngore
gosh.
location. You're the
Let
human
me
that shows
know
up.
when you stream it.
You play
again.
as Zach. You legitimately show up and you're Zach. They shrink you down and they're like, oh my gosh, you're a human. We hate you. And they're like, no, wait, he's trying to help us against the other humans. He's a good
That's
guy. There's like an entire like very Final Fantasy VII-esque themed area where like the city is like super futuristic looking, but it's like the exact same look as Final Fantasy VII with the train city, and the whole thing has like this big train that people are trying to blow up. It's like a whole thing. Spoilers, I guess, to some degree. There's a lot more story to it than that, but like there's so much inspiration from other games in here. It's like they were like, we're gonna make the theme park MMOs of all theme park MMOs.
Yeah,
like
That's cool.
But we're gonna do it to a point where it's so freaking intense that like most people will either love it, and the people that hate it are going to really hate it because they're gonna be like, I don't want this. I'm just gonna go play the actual games myself. But it's a lot of fun. Although a little bit overwhelming. Like I've been overwhelmed with the amount. Yeah, there was a little clip of the Final Fantasy VII-esque area. Yeah,
it's like the Ready Player One of MMORPGs in the action RPG type genre and look.
I'm at
there's clowns, there's mechs, there's like every time I turn around, it's a completely different setting and genre.
Yeah, I'm level 50, which is cap, and I have like 17 guide quests, which are like tutorial quests that I still don't have done.
Of course,
and
he's
like
capped. It's only
and
been
those
2
are the
days.
quests that I can accept. I was capped yesterday, but no big deal. I did it while having my job and everything. I don't know how. Don't ask me.
We won't.
Because I really don't know. I don't know how I did it.
Wow.
Well, cool. I guess we'll be hearing more about this game as time goes on.
If it wasn't, I might have missed it because I was like queuing up stuff, but it is free to play.
Right.
You can find it on Steam at the very least. It is published by Amazon, which means that you can hook it up to your Prime Gaming, and there's a couple of drops there. As Bruno said, his Twitch drops were accidentally duplicated, and it's free to play. And I said that a second time on purpose because what I meant by that, it's very much in the vein of like Fortnite and things like that, where there's cosmetics glory all over the place, tempting you to just put in your money for this digital currency so you can get more of these fun, exciting, like doodads that you can have following you around or whatever you want. So your mileage may vary.
No.
So I know I talked about this game on the last podcast, but I did finish the game this week, and oh my gosh, DARQ, DARQ. Get it on Steam. It is currently $19.99. I got it on a Steam sale for I think $6.99. I think it's worth $19.99. It's such an amazing game. Again, if you missed the last podcast, it's the same sort of creepy, spooky genre as Limbo and Inside. So you're playing on one plane. It's got similar graphics to Little Nightmares 2, where it's kind of like dark. But this is much more monochromatic, like Inside and Limbo. It's gloomy, it's moody, it's creepy. It's all the things I love. It has this extra game mechanic where you can walk up to a wall and then start walking on the wall, and it changes your entire perspective. So you are suddenly up on the wall and your map changes, and then you can walk on the ceiling and then your map changes. And it's a little tough thinking, oh, where am I in this now very three-dimensional space on my two-dimensional screen? So if you like puzzle games, definitely play it. I tweeted how much I enjoyed playing this game and how happy I was to have experienced this game. And it's like a good book, right? When you read a really good book, you're like, I'm so glad I made it to the end, but I'm a little sad that I made it to the end too. And the studio tweeted back that there are not one but 2 new games in development that they will be releasing, and also a graphic novel or comic book, whatever you want to call it, that they will be releasing as well. And I was like, I will be stalking you. Thank you very much. The graphic novel, as far as I can tell from the website, looks beautiful. It's a little bit different from the graphics that you see in the game, but also incredible. So I am very much looking forward to that. So you will definitely be hearing from me as soon as any of these games or graphic novels come out. I just wanted to plug them again because I loved it so much. I know that Venus Nova or Venus Nova, Venus White Star is also playing the game. So we can hear from somebody else about what she thinks about it.
Cool. So here we go into the Zysius corner of what I've been playing.
The list, Zysia.
Actually, I've only got really... I'll just go through it. Anyway, so the first one is I've been playing Gas Station Simulator because I'm all about the simulation games and, things like that. So I did pick it up for the cheaper end. Is There Any Deal right now has Fanatical at the cheapest price at $13.39. It is on sale for $15.99 on Steam. But it is very much that. It's a gas station simulator. You literally start off owning this like hole in the dirt, middle of the desert type place that you have to clean up. So very much like a house flipper. You have to go in, clean the place up. You can pick the color of the walls. You can paint. You can, clean. And then you finally get the gas station open and you have these old school pumps where people pull up in the desert and you fill their car up and then they pay you. And you can get to the point where you can buy, different like snacks and drinks and cigarettes and things like that to get people in. And then as you progress, you open up a workshop where you can like actually, fix cars. You have to worry about deliveries to the point where you open a car wash, you hire people, and you have them on shifts and all these different things going on. But one of the cool things outside of all this, because it's starting to get a little bit repetitive for me. I've been playing it for probably close to 10 hours at this point.
A simulator is getting repetitive for you?
Well, I mean, I like some of these, but like it's starting to get to the point where I'm kind of like, I don't know if I want to keep playing, just because it's getting to the point where like it takes a very long time to do the next level up, and it's not like the grind, but like the game is slow for the grind, so like I can't speed that up, so it's just really slow. But anyway, like one of the cool, neat parts that I thought was pretty awesome was they have a party bus. So these like these random little encounter things that you can actually turn on and off in the options, which is pretty cool. Because actually the first one is a little kid that like basically does vandalism. So he goes around, sprays obscenities on your walls and stuff. And you have to clean that up. And that was the first thing I did was turn him off because I'm like, I ain't got time for that. Like I'm trying to enjoy myself playing this game. Not I have a little brat running around. And like the only way that you get him to leave is you throw things at him. So I had to I took like a shelf and I threw the shelf at him and hit him and he ran away. And I'm like, that's kind of mean.
Oh, that is awful.
But so I turned him off. But there was a party bus that shows up when you build your bus stop and it pulls up. It looks just kind of like the Fortnite bus. It has like all the flashing lights and this rave going on. You hear the music like doosh, doosh, doosh. And like off the bus comes like 30 people all like dancing, like doing like fist pumps and all this stuff like in a line coming to your gas station. And it's like they're all wearing like Martian masks or like raptor masks, and like they're just jamming out to come inside your store, and you miss like hopefully you have everything stocked because they're looking to like buy a bunch of stuff and use your bathroom.
Or they all want to use the bathroom and they're not going to buy anything.
Yeah. So that happens too, but it was just pretty funny. I had a trip when I pulled up. I was like, "Oh my god, this is hilarious!" But it's a quirky game. The physics are a little janky in it at times, which kind of makes it fun because like things like jumping on hoods of cars. Thanks Phoenix for telling me that one. Makes cars tend to jump. You can like break into cars in front of people and they don't realize it. Like I broke into a cop car while the cop was like on the way back and he didn't realize it. So just little things like that. But overall, it was fun. It kind of it does have a good simulation feel. Like you kind of, because you can also turn it off. Like you can shut the place down and kind of give yourself a break to like clean up and maybe do some decorations and like get everything ready for the next day. But then you're not making money, so it's kind of like a give and take. But ultimately, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I'll still probably come back to it a little bit more, just to kind of progress a little bit further. But it's been pretty neat. So anyway, that's that. And then yesterday, I downloaded this game. I've had it in my Epic library forever now. It was free when I picked it up from Epic. It was one of their free games. But this is Jurassic World Evolution, and it's not a new game. There's actually a part 2 out. I already realized today. I was like, damn, this is already. There's already a second one. Currently, right now on Epic is the lowest price is $8.99, so you can pick it up there for that. But very much a city builder, park builder game. Very much, you're managing the park. You have money to worry about, your finances. You have to build buildings. You have to take care of the dinosaurs and all this stuff. But the part that's pretty cool is the taking care of the dinosaurs part, because I've played Planet Coaster, I've played Cities, I've played a slew of other games in the same kind of vein, and this one's a little different because of the dinosaurs. Because just like Jurassic Park, I have to balance. You basically have 3 advisors, and one is your like science person, like your science director. You have your entertainment director, and then you have your security director. And you kind of like see which one you want to work with. And of course, like me, I'm like, oh, I'm doing security because I want to make sure that these dinosaurs don't get out. Like that's the number one thing. But at the same time, in order to make money, you got to have people coming into your park. So you have to kind of balance that out. But the neat thing with the dinosaurs is you get to actually manipulate their DNA. So you can kind of create customized sort of dinosaurs that you have. So like you may take let's say, I can't think of a dinosaur right now, but like Triceratops, for example. And the base model is this DNA, but then you can go to each part of the DNA and actually swap out different characteristics that you research to make them a little more docile, or maybe they live longer or whatever. So that's pretty neat. And then the other cool part was you can actually, so you have like recon teams that can go out and like, shoot tranquilizers and stuff if you need to. And you can actually pilot those helicopters, and you can also be the gunner. Like, so you're literally flying around in a helicopter and you can shoot the dinosaurs with the tranq gun. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I just like to add that aspect into these type of games, because a lot of times they'll just let you control a player and you just kind of see through their eyes, or control a car and you just see through the car's eyes, like the person driving, but you don't really get to like enjoy it and like drive around. Like one of the neat games I remember back in the day, actually Planet Coaster did it. But there was also like Planet Coaster and like Roller Coaster Tycoon, like they allowed you to, ride the roller coaster, and that was always fun. But like you couldn't just like do everything. So it's just cool to do that. So I don't know. I've enjoyed it. It's a little different take on that. It's pretty neat. And that's pretty much it. The last game I played, it's called American 80s Playtest, or American 80s Theft. And I played the playtest on that. It was just open. I did a write-up on our website if you want to check out that one. It's a playtest, so it's not much to talk about, but it's basically a thief simulator. You're a thief in the 80s, and they kind of capture that pretty well. But if you want to read more about that, you can check out our website for that one.
I love the 80s.
That is what we've been playing. But before we move to the emails, I wanted to talk about a game that we've been talking about recently, is like how games are coming out and we're excited. But the Wolf Among Us 2 trailer dropped. And if you're a fan of the Wolf Among Us, or if you haven't, let me tell you about it. It's a company called Telltale. Make a lot of different games, different series. They have the Walking Dead series. They have the Game of Thrones series. They made Wolf Among Us, a bunch of other games. But it's the options of making decisions. So, your decisions change the game. And it's very much one of those like fast reaction kind of games where you have to like make a decision quickly, and then that could change the outcome of the game. Like there's multiple endings, and they just do a really good ability to like tell a story. Like they tell really good stories.
And it's got a very comic booky looking graphic style.
Yeah, exactly. So the Wolf Among Us is about basically you are Sheriff Bigsby, and it's all in the world of like fables. So you meet Snow White, who's like your boss. You have like Toad from Mr. Toad's Wild Ride kind of thing. Like he's there, he has a son, and like there's just all these different characters that you meet throughout this world that you're like, oh my god, that's like I grew up with. Like, but they're all like not necessarily what you think. Like Snow White is like the head of like this like city hall type of thing, and she's like got you as the sheriff, and it's a great take. It's really cool. But anyway, so part 2 was announced today. I was trying to get you to play some footage if you'd like to, Brian. That'd be fantastic if you could do that. I put it on there. I said, Phoenix, please play this while I talk. God. Anyway, for those who are listening, it doesn't matter anyway, but if you're watching, the trailer is out there. It's really amazing. And what they show is there is the group that he's going towards, the new people that are introduced, come from, a fable that is pretty popular, and a story that I'm very familiar with, and a lot of you guys are too.
It was created from a graphic novel originally, right? Or a book. Fables is a
no, maybe. The fables in general are all like book stories, like
but
the first concept of Wolf Among Us is what she's saying. I think that might have come from
I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, I could see that for sure, but it's such a great trailer. I would say, we'll have to put a link out there or something. But it's when they like in this trailer here, when they reveal who these people are, it's so good. Like it's so good. Oh man.
Well, it's also good that they're finally coming out with a sequel, because
yes,
The Wolf Among Us was kind of infamous about its ending being extremely cliffhangery.
Yeah.
So that people really wanted to have a sequel to it. And this is years and years and years later.
Didn't it come out in like 2013?
So here's the thing with this is so if you're watching right now, spoiler from the trailer is it looks to be the Tin Man and the Scarecrow. And if you looked at the lady on the couch, she has 2 pigtails, which looks to be Dorothy. So that is super interesting. But the interesting story about Telltale is that the studio actually like broke up. Like I think either they broke up or they weren't going to make any more games. Like, it was over. And everybody's like,
they didn't break up.
Wolf Among Us.
I think
like
they went out of business.
They went out of business. That's what it was. And so they were like, Wolf Among Us 2, like it's not going to happen. But I guess I can't remember if they got picked up by someone else or whatever. But it's happening now.
Yeah, another company came in and purchased the IPs. And actually, while a lot of when I mean developers, the actual people developing, not the company developers, a lot of the developers had actually gone on to other companies. They did send out a call of like, hey, if any of you want to come and work on this stuff again, we'd love to have you. And they actually got a couple. So cool. You have some of the same people in theory that are developing these again.
Yeah. So that's been really neat. Unfortunately, if you're excited like me, this game isn't going to be released until 2023. So they released the trailer
too.
They released the trailer to let us know that it's going to happen, and they've actually obviously got at least some gameplay footage, at least for the trailer.
I actually watched some of the stream discussion about it, and
oh, nice.
Yeah, so they went into a lot of detail, and it was pretty cool. Everybody's totally amped, and I'm totally amped. And I have downloaded The Wolf Among Us because somebody very close to me said that it was their favorite game when I asked them. And he is a super gamer. So I downloaded it. I still have not played it. So I think I'll play it just in time.
You should. It's so good.
For the next one to come out.
My wife is pumped. Like I sent her that. She was like, oh my God, yes. And then she got to the end. It was like 2023. She was like, no. Because she was like, I wanted to go home and play it right now. Like that's how I feel. So
and yet it could be 18, 19, 20 months away.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But anyway, so that's the games we played and interesting things coming up. So getting into our emails, we do have an email today. We have an email from Peanut Butter Mongoose, who was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still around, but if he is, he sent an email in and says,
he is.
Dear Sassy Pants team, I am Sofa King
I love it.
or knee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you say that again?
I am Sofa King or knee.
Say it one more time super fast.
I am Sofa King or knee.
So he's the king of sofas. His name's
No.
Orny. Okay, got it.
No.
So
I can't. I am.
he said,
Can I ruin it real quick?
no, I get it.
We
It's
know.
fine.
Go.
Okay.
It says, thanks for reading that. And he said, I have received a request from my son to build a computer. I was wondering what resources, sites are most helpful for hardware and learning about how to put together a good computer. Thanks for being awesome. Well, thank you,
Tom's
Peanut
Hardware.
Butter Mongoose, for also being awesome.
Mm.
Well, everybody can do their own
Tom's
thing. I would
Hardware.
say, well, what I would say personally is I would say PCPartPicker.com. So PCPartPicker.com. What that'll do is
Just
you can
pick
say your opinion.
parts.
I'm going to tell my opinion. You can do PC Part Picker. What it'll do is you can actually pick custom builds, or you can piece it together yourself if you want to go that route. But what it'll do is actually give you recommendations and also make sure that your hardware is compatible with what you're buying. So that's what I've been using for the last few builds that I've done for me and my friends. It's an easy way to make sure things work.
But I heard site to tell you how to build a computer. Tom's Hardware.
it said
Parts
what
Picker's not going
resources.
to tell you that.
Yeah.
So first of all, can I just say I love the alliteration of PC Pickers. What was it?
Part
What was it
Pickers.
again?
PC Part
PC
Picker.
Part Pickers. PC. I love alliteration. Oh my gosh, PC Part
Oh
Pickers.
my.
I'm in.
But so yeah,
Wow.
so taught me obviously learning information about the hardware and stuff. If you're wanting to actually know like what these things do, Tom's Hardware is good. You can go to YouTube Academy. There's a lot of
Mhm.
resources out there. You can search for different channels. But mainly what I wanted to kind of get into is, for your son, I'm guessing this is going to be, a gaming PC, I would expect. So with that being said, when it comes to gaming on PC, it's more of the Wild West if you're comparing that to like a console. So there's a lot of things on the internet that are definitely not for children. And even with Steam, that's like we mentioned Steam a lot and we talk about that, but Steam has a lot of bad
Mhm.
things that even sometimes on my normal feed, which I have most of that stuff blocked, it'll pop up and I'm like, what is this game? Like, I don't even want to see this. So what I recommend is whatever accounts you do set up for this, for your kid, is make sure to get the parental guidance, parental stuff set up. So that way, for one, they're not using your credit card to buy a bunch of stuff without your permission. And then two, that they don't get to see like these crazy games that developers have made that you don't need to see. So I would just say, make sure to do that.
And along those same lines, and equally as important, you do not set up parental controls and walk away. You involve yourself with what the kids are doing. My sister started playing Magic in her 50s because her kids got interested in playing Magic. And she was like, I don't know so much about my preteen daughter going to a comic book store with a bunch of men in their 30s and 40s playing this card game. So, I mean, and she got involved in actually playing it and seeing what was involved with that whole concept and found out, oh, there's actually some pretty nice people here. Maybe every now and then they could maybe tone down their language a little bit, but yeah, I mean, like, and that's not to say that you have to be there every moment of the day with them while in supervising them while they're playing something, but get involved and know what they're doing and know a little bit about that environment, because a little bit of knowledge of that way is going to go a long way.
Yeah. And also, I don't know if you're a gamer as well, but if you are, and you already have Steam, maybe this is something you're just wanting to know how to build a PC. You can also do family mode and share your library with him. So like, or her, like if they have an account, you can share that within the household and like, they won't have to pay for the same games you already have. So it's a little tip and trick right there. But the next thing I was going to say is, you don't have to build a PC. Like at this point now, especially with graphics cards and how pricey they can be, there's a lot of machines, like even Daydrinker herself, like she has a gaming laptop that can run almost circles around my actual PC that I built a few years ago. Like we're getting to that point right now that things are like pretty much good right out the box. I mean, yeah, there are some hardware that you can buy that's probably maybe overpriced for what it is, but obviously do research,
Absolutely.
read reviews, and see what you can find. But yeah, don't even have to necessarily build a PC at this point. You can probably buy a pre-made already that already has what you need. So that's my 2 cents. Anything else? Do you guys have any other tips and tricks?
If somebody were trying to create their own games, like code their own games, what would you do?
That's a good question. So if you were going to code games, what I would recommend is there's a YouTube channel called Brackeys, and that's Brckeys, I think it is. And Brackeys, he is and was amazing because he actually stepped away from doing this because he's been doing it for so long. The Brackeys channel is still alive, but he's not doing the videos anymore. He's just done. But he started when he was very young, probably like 15, 16 years old, making these videos all the way through his 20s and probably even up to his maybe 30s at this point or something. But he basically, that's who I watched to learn my first game. And the game engine I used was Unity. Unity is known to be a little easier to learn than using like Unreal Engine. But I also made like a 2D game versus 3D, which Unity can do both, but it's just a matter of how far down the rabbit hole you want to go. But Brackeys is really good. But again, YouTube Academy, there's all kinds of little things you can pick up on and learn. But it's going to be coding. So you're going to have to learn, either JavaScript or C# or something that, has some sort of ability to be able to play there to write in. So.
Yeah. Also, Minecraft, especially with children, there's Minecraft summer camp.
Younger. Yeah.
And there's, and it's not just, Minecraft is digital Lego, yes, but at the same time, there is some programming in it, and there's a lot of programming in it, actually.
Yeah.
And also, I don't remember the name of the engine. I was trying to look it up. It might be the Inform 7 engine, but there's a ton of inexpensive engines out there for different types of gaming. Some people will be like Unity. Even as easy as it is, can be super intimidating as well.
Oh,
some people,
it's intense.
Yeah, it can be very intense. Some people might want to start off at making a text adventure game. And there are some engines out there that allow you to do it that get you into, and you can get that sense of accomplishment of creating an end product without having to get super in depth and I can't do art and I can't 3D stuff.
Text adventure in the Frog game, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay, the Frog game,
Frog Fractions.
Then Frog Fractions, and then Pony Island, and also
it was just Inscription. I think it was just
I don't think Inscription had it. Yeah, you're right. So those awesome intros into basic gaming, but fun gaming too, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to type in, you see the line of code and you're like, no, do this. Oh, well, you basically guess your way through it. Not guess your way through it, but that's cool.
I was learning
Twine.
Twine
was the one I was trying to find. Twine, I heard, and it may be dated now, but I heard Twine is fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially for something that branches and changes and then and it has different paths. My understanding is Twine's very good.
And that's a good point, because so I was learning bash scripting for Linux basically, and what I tried to do is make a text adventure. So I had to write the behind the scenes, like all the things that make things appear on the screen. But Brian kind of nailed it on that, is things that work well with branching, because bash doesn't really do well with branching, because you have to keep looping and having to set up certain functions and stuff. But it's harder than you think when it comes to that, because when you start thinking about all your options that you wanted to do, or maybe have random rolls against certain things to account for, you kind of start looking at Python. You start looking at things you can pull in libraries and start handling more information than just a bash script. But that was something that I did use to kind of make a basic choose your own adventure style game. But it's sky's the limit. There's so much things online. You can make a 2D game. There's Reddits out there, Unity 2D, Unity 3D subreddits that I follow, that people either post hey, look what I'm working on, or hey, like, what do you think about option A and B? Like, with the shadow, without the shadow, or hey, this is how the character jumps now. It's not jumping. So there's just a lot of different things out there, the resources, but the internet's great for that. And the community, typically with Unity, at least from my experience, has been very helpful, whether on Reddit or in the Unity forums.
I think as a noob, like, you don't know where to go, and to have y'all's advice is definitely helpful. So,
are you trying to make a game? Is that what's happening?
No.
She's
You
already
would
made
make
some
the best Day Drinker game.
Yeah.
Oh, I've already made that game.
You just press A to lift the drink.
Actually,
B to
that's
put
a
it down.
good point. Day Drinker is going to work on republishing the
last.
play along during the podcast drinking game for SASS Gaming. She's going to actually publish it out on our website.
Yes, I am. With the
Now
caveat
you have to do it.
that, with the caveat that, from a legal standpoint, you are your own person. We do not. We cannot be held accountable for your drinking. We are not forcing you to do any of this. But yes,
Because drinking too much water can be dangerous, so be careful.
Drinking
So we just
too
need to
much
make
water
an
can be
app
too
now.
dangerous.
So we can have the bingo app, so you can play along with us
There
while
you
you're
go.
watching.
Yes, so you can
That'd be fun.
bingo and not have to drink. But yes, so we are going to add in. When I created the SASS drinking game, I was not a member of SASS, so we should update it to other ridiculous things.
We've got to include reasons why people drink when Day Drinker does things.
Yes.
Yes.
I've been
I like
thinking
it.
about that.
Anytime she rags on me about playing Wordle, drink.
Or
What?
anytime I correct
That's way too
his
specific.
mispronunciations.
That's a good one. Right there. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's
All right. Well, that was our email, and that is what got our attention this week. So if you're listening to the podcast, you can check us out at sassgaming.com. You can catch up all our news. Our podcasts are published there as well. They update from our anchor, so if you want to get with any of that, you can. Obviously, we do this every Thursday night, typically, for the most part. Usually here at 9 p.m. on either YouTube or Twitch live, and then we republish it for you.
YouTube and Twitch
later.
and Trovo.
And Trovo, yeah, that's true. And outside of that, if you want to support us a little more and help support the content we create and want to see more of it, or just like us for some reason, or hate us, go to patreon.com/sassgaming and become a Patreon. And then that way you can get your name in the credits. You can get some swag on Discord. You can also get our podcast unedited. Also, so unedited in the sense of uncensored, and also you get the intermission that you typically don't get unless you watch live. So a little bit of perks there for you guys as well. But until next time, that's all we got. You guys be safe and have a good time. See you next week.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.